So welcome back, everybody. We're going to make a quick little episode today, and I thought I'd bring you along because this should be fun, and well, it's channel and firewood related. So I recently just got me a tabletop bandsaw here that has a very large cutting height, and I cut up lots of different woods, from smoking and cooking woods to what I need to cut up today. We've been burning through a lot of solo stove wood. That's the little small smokeless fire pits that, well, it's just a craze and everybody's been using for years. We finally got us one. We love it. The problem is the model that we bought, it requires a little bit smaller size firewood than what we typically have. So I have found the bandsaw is the perfect way to rip down cooking wood and, well, solo stove wood. So I changed out the factory blade once already with a little bit better one I found on Amazon, and I had talked about in the future if we start selling a lot of, well, specialty woods, cooking woods and other things such as that, to where I need to rely on one of these, that I may invest in a much more expensive, very large 14-inch model. Someone reached out to me and said, before you ever think of investing all that money in one of those, they can be anywhere from $1,000 to most of them are $2,000. Change the blade out again to a better quality blade that's designed just for what you're doing, and you may be surprised. So I'm going to take your advice. So let's talk bandsaw blades today. I just ordered in a couple of new bandsaw blades, extremely aggressive teeth, and this is from a company called Timberwolf. I went directly on their website. So here's the thing. This looks to be a much better quality blade than anything I could get on Amazon, and they do sell some of these on Amazon. But I went to Timberwolf's website. My goodness, they have so many different blades, but they gave me a breakdown chart. Basically, it asked, what are you cutting? What's your intended purposes? And I found a rough cut blade for dried hardwood. Perfect. That's exactly what I need to cut through, well, dried hardwood firewood. And you can see this is extremely aggressive. 3 teeth per inch, which is going to leave a rough cut, but should be a quick cut, assuming this machine has the power to pull this blade through. Pretty much everything I could find on Amazon is 6 teeth per inch. You can see there's a lot finer teeth here. That's kind of more for finer cutting. Then it goes all the way up to like 14 teeth per inch, which will give you a really fine, clean cut. We're not out here doing furniture or any kind of woodworking. We're just wanting to rip through some firewood. So rough cut blade, well, that's what I'm after, assuming this machine can handle it. So let's find that out. That's what we're going to do in this episode, just play around out here at the chop shop. All right, so as y'all seen in the intro, I brought a tote of firewood over here. I think I'm gonna start keeping a tote of cooking wood and firewood. The majority of this is oak, but this top section is something I cut down last year. It almost looks like a sweet gum, not quality wood at all, but that's okay. We're just burning in a fire pit. But I think as much as we're burning and will continue to burn over the next many months, it makes sense to stage a couple of totes right here. Whenever I need cooking wood or firewood, just run right down, pull the bandsaw out, whip up what I need, throw it in some buckets that I have in the backside of the Ranger, and carry it right back up to the house. So in the last episode, I wore gloves while I ran one of these saws, and a lot of people mentioned don't wear gloves. And some people were a little confused why people were making that comment, so let's explain it. There are certain types of tools that wearing gloves is actually not beneficial. You would think, hey, I want gloves on so I don't get cut, but on something especially like this blade that's got all these very rough teeth on it, well, if you wear gloves, they could potentially catch the gloves and pull your fingers into the blade itself instead of actually protecting you. All right, so we're gonna run a couple pieces of oak that I have right here through this, as well as some of this no-name wood that I just pulled out of there, but it's all hardwood. So this should be some of the toughest stuff this has to cut. All right, fingers crossed, this works out well. All right, so it definitely rips right through it, but I can tell some of this stuff is really stringy. Those big teeth are trying to catch and stop it. may not have enough momentum to run this type of blade. I mean, it's wanting to rip right through it. All right, some of this wood is very stringy. I'm concerned that the teeth are just gonna hang up on stuff like this. This is not a high horsepower saw, but we shall see. So here's the other thing I got thinking. If at times my fire pit wood and smoking wood or cooking wood happens to be the same species, like oak for example, I like smaller chunks for my smoking wood. I could potentially take a piece that's like 18 inches long like this, cut a 4-inch chunk off the end, have a 14-inch piece for the fire pit, a 4-inch chunk for the smoker. That'd work out really well. But right now I'm just busting everything straight in half to pile up in our little solo stove, and thus far that's been working out awesome. So the other comment a lot of people left in the last video was I've got a bad habit of pushing the wood through cutting and then coming back through. I've already been doing it to put into the bucket. They said set your saw up to where you can just push through, put your material over here. That way you're not potentially pulling back through and catching on the saw blade. It might snatch the wood from you, might damage your blade, things such as that. So that's a new habit that I have to create here. Definitely cutting through with no effort. This is a much better blade, and it's cutting nice and straight too. It's working really, really good. Pretty large piece. All right, so I can already tell it's cutting quicker. I'm trying not to just really force it in there and jam the blade up, but we'll see how quick we can get with it. Cutting much easier, much quicker, and what I can't get over is cut straight. I mean, I guess that's just a testament to a quality blade right here, but the last blades would want to wander off into the piece of wood. I don't really care. I'm not doing lumber here, you know, or furniture grade stuff, but it's cutting straight and true, probably because it's a quality blade. The other thing we're going to do in a future project, right now the buckets are working just fine, but I'm filling them up so quick. We're going to make some totes, baskets, weld something up. We'll make some decorative firewood holders, so to speak. One for, well, smoking and cooking wood, one for the solo stove. And right now our big fire pit, it eats so much wood through the night, I just bring a tractor bucket down here and fill it. But I don't have to cut any wood for that either. We already cutting and splitting that earlier in the year with the chainsaw. All right, this is a big, nasty piece of firewood. I can't stand stringy stuff like this, and well, it's big, at least for our standards. My guess is this isn't gonna work out well. If it'll cut through that, it'll cut through anything else I can ask it to. That cut right through it. I can definitely tell I had to slow down, but figured that was gonna jam it up for sure. All right, so let's test it out on a smaller piece of oak. People are always asking me, why do you split so small when they watch our videos? We don't heat with wood down here. This is Florida. Everything's being cooked with. We're burning outside in small fire pits. Yes, there are some people that do heat their homes here with wood, but it's just not a whole lot. A small piece of wood like this dries very quickly. I can also cut nice chunks off of this for my gravity smoker. I can cut longer sections off for my little small side burner smoker. And this throws into a fire pit perfectly and burns right up, makes a nice big flame, nice quick hot coals. That's what you want on an outdoor fire pit. We're not looking for thick pieces of wood that's gonna last all night long in a stove. Kind of being a little rough as I go as fast as I'm going. Seems to be the speed that it likes right there. That's okay. This is also the perfect size chunk for throwing on your charcoal grill, like a Weber grill. I still run one, especially when I'm trying to sear steaks. And I'll throw a chunk of, say, cherry or oak like this on the charcoal smoker to add a little extra flavor. This is perfect for doing that. Wait to get through that old nasty stringy wood. Here's a piece of oak that doesn't have all that junk hanging off that keeps catching in the blade. Yeah, see, that cuts so much better. All right, well, just like that, we got 3 buckets full of wood. Believe it or not, this only lasts us about 2 nights burning through the solo stove. So I've definitely got to come up with a little bit better solution for carrying this stuff, stacking it, and storing it, because I would like to stay down here. This only took a few minutes to do, but if we're going to do all the cleaning up and pulling the tools out, I would love to, well, go ahead and rack up enough that would say maybe get us through a full week. So that's something we'll definitely work on in a future episode. And by the way, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but thank you so much for the comment you left. It was relatively long, but I read every single comment, and you convinced me to order a better set of blades before I would ever consider going with a larger bandsaw. I'm not saying I won't get a larger bandsaw in the future, but right now I can't justify it, especially as well as those blades are cutting. I could realistically come down here and spend a few hours in the future if the orders came in for cooking wood and little chunks and things such as that, and I can knock out a tremendous amount of wood with that current setup I have, and it was relatively affordable as well. All right, thank y'all for watching. Thanks for the suggestions. You were right. Better blades, quicker and better cuts. Catch you on the next video.